Everybody, welcome back. So I'm going to start a new project today, and this is one that actually came to me already disassembled for the most part, and a primer coat on, but I think I'm going to go ahead and strip it my way also, just to make sure, because in the process it's gotten some nicks in the primer, and I usually don't want this sprayed as thickly. And just so I know exactly what's going on with the machine. But this is a cool little machine. It looks like a 15, doesn't it? Doesn't it? But it's not. It's a 115. And I did want a 115 very similar to this a while back. It was my great-grandmother's machine, which my parents now have at their house. So this was made in 1917. And she looks like a 15 on the outside. She actually has a rotary hook and everything down here. And since I didn't take her apart, I'm assuming that she's complete and that everything is in there to make her work. So we're going to kind of skip ahead. I'm going to be putting her in the tank later on today once it all gets warmed up and everything. So the next time you see her, we're actually going to skip ahead to the painting video and then the reassembly video after that. I am still playing with parts on this machine. She's not even in my tank, and I'm finding lots of missing things, but I thought I would turn the camera on because I've never worked on a tension unit like this. Look, it has the little numbers on this side, and you turn this and it's going to tighten it up. Now this was, you know, inside of the little standard 15 looking case and everything on that front plate. But I am trying to figure out how to unscrew it. I don't see a way to unscrew it the typical way. Typically you would push this down, unscrew this, you know, and that's all fine. So I'm going to play with this for a minute, and if I figure it out, I will turn the camera back on. So it looks like you just keep untwisting, and it's just threaded on. So if you untwist all the way, the thing's going to come off. So this is all one unit here, and then I have this beehive spring, which is smaller than I'm used to seeing, okay? And then, well, nothing inside. Then this piece, which is has the hole that the number indicator is on, that is, you know, with the empty side facing out. My 2 tension discs, and then my post. There you go. So I've got it all cleaned up and everything. I'm going to put it back together. I am pretty sure that this front plate that was in the box with all of this stuff is from a 15 clone, and that's why it's different. It's not a Singer one. It'll fit a Singer, but it's not a Singer brand. And so I think that's why the tension unit is a little different, because it's not a Singer brand. But it'll still work, so, you know, I've got it cleaned up now, so I'm going to go ahead and polish it and put it back together again. Okay, welcome back. It's been a couple days, and I honestly don't remember where I left off, but at one point I was thinking of putting a motor on here because it does have a place to attach, but I've changed my mind, and I am going to be putting a hand crank on. And I have an earlier video, and I'll link it at the end of this, where I went into how I try to reinforce my hand cranks with extra thingies to make it not as rattly, because these are just the little aftermarket ones that you can get on eBay and everywhere else, Amazon and stuff. They're not the best, but they're pretty much the only thing available unless you find original, and that's hundreds of dollars and very rare. So I will be taking this apart and painting most of it, but I wanted to show you the hand crank, the belt guard and bobbin winder were missing, and I'm very excited that I just got my package in the mail from fabulous Bob Fowler. who had an extra. So I am going to double check and make sure that this is going to fit and going to fit with my wheel and make sure everything lines up right, and it looks like it will. I needed for this rubber of this bobbin winder tire to line up with this part of the wheel here, because if I'm using a hand crank, there's not going to be a belt. And some of the old treadle type bobbin winders, this is positioned so that first there's no tire, but that little pulley lines up with this groove. So if this wheel is on correctly and this is on there, it does line up. So that's great. So I can go ahead and get this disassembled, because this part here and here is going to get stripped and painted. So that's my project for today, is to go ahead and get these two things taken apart, and I'll show you that. Okay, so I'm gonna get this taken off here and try not to damage any of the screws or stab myself. Hopefully. Trying to see what that was. I just heard something. Oh well. Anyway. First I'm going to take this screw off down here, and earlier when I was just speaking a little bit ago, if you heard some thumping in the background, a little bird had gotten into my shop, so I just opened the doors and got the little bird out, so that's good. Okay, so here is a big shouldered screw. This is coming off now. There's the spring. I'm going to take this screw off here. I should probably take this ratchet off because it's just going to be annoying me. Okay, so now that is off and it's a little screw, so that's ready to strip and paint. And I need to remove this little nut back here. Just reminding that the follower on this one is on the underneath, not on top, and this little arm is going to go to that down below. Just grab this little adjustable wrench here so that can come off, and I should be able to just press this off right there. There is a little spring washer, okay, and it's going to be curving towards the casting, okay, so the high part of it is up. Where did it go? So the high part is going to be against here, okay. And the last thing is this little spring-loaded follower. I'm going to pull that off. A little bit of rest there, but that will all be taken care of, okay? And there's a spring in here. So, you know, it's going to be good that this thing gets serviced. I'm going to go ahead and pull this tire off because I'm not taking this part off. That just causes issues for me. So this whole thing's going to go into my hot dip stripping tank. Now for this piece, well, let me go ahead and bag these up first.
Forgotten and alone, I touched her rusty wheels and knew I'd take her home. I brought her to my farm in an Amish neighborhood where simple living's valued, she'd be loved and understood. I put her on a treadle stand and coaxed her wheel to turn. I felt her joy and easing my study and concern. I cleaned her and I oiled her, showed her off to all my friends, repaired the hurts of years let her sew again.